Hold the hell on now. I know you didn't think you was gonna view this content without a disclaimer. Now, if you're drinking, you better be doing it responsibly. Goddamn alcoholics. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Drinks Dialogue and Debates podcast. I am your host, Tavon, and we are here with episode 3, Mental Health. Before we go ahead and dive into the topic, I want to go ahead and introduce the panelists before us. Go ahead and start, please.
Hi, I'm Chantel.
I'm Kia. Nashika. Don't be shy now.
I'm like, it's my turn. My bad.
I'm Cookie with 2 eyes.
2 eyes.
I love to hear her say that.
2 O's, 2 eyes.
Okay. So we are here to talk about mental health. I want to start by saying, how is everyone doing given the climate of the world, things that may be going on in your personal life? How is everyone feeling? And I do have a picture, so that way you can call out, whatever heart that you feel you're at right about now.
Hold on, wait, because you done came out.
Oh, I can't see it, baby.
Okay, well, I'm going to read it off for y'all.
I'm going to say yellow. I'm yellow.
Yeah, I'm like a yellow sometimes.
Okay. So, Nashik, if you can't see, it's red for I'm doing great, orange for I'm doing pretty good, yellow, I'm doing okay, I guess, green, I'm starting to struggle, blue, I'm having a really hard time, and purple, I need to reach out for support.
I'm probably yellow.
Yellow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
I would say sometimes 100%. Yellow, sometimes blue.
Right now, today, as we're talking, I'm yellow.
Right. And yeah, I think I'm about a yellow as well.
Yeah.
Okay, doing okay. Some days are harder than most, but overall. So we have some topics that we want to dive into in regards to mental health, and I want to start off with what negative stigmas do y'all think are associated with mental health within the Black community? Because with mental health, we don't talk about it a lot. It's kind of taboo. No one wants to be looked at as having some type of illness when it comes to the mental. And why do you guys think that is? Like,
I think it comes from the older generation.
Yeah, and I feel like everybody's not educated on it. So, like, it's a comment for them to say, like, oh, that's white people shit. And they don't really know much about it.
I don't think it's what it is. I don't think it's taken serious in a lot of situations. And I think that a lot of people, like, they don't even allow themselves to take it serious and address it. It's embarrassing. It's almost like what HIV was in the 90s, or what COVID is now. When during quarantine, if you were testing positive for COVID, you wouldn't say nothing until you were done quarantining. It's just, to me, that a lot of families too, I think it's a family thing, because it is hereditary. I have a brother who is schizophrenic, bipolar, and all my memories of him are about 90% of my memories of him are of him in an episode, or coming on to or coming off from an episode. And that could be, his episodes sometimes were violent, his episodes sometimes were destructive. What I didn't know as a kid, because he's a lot older than me, but what I didn't know as a kid was that he should have been diagnosed probably when he was about 10, 11. And he wasn't diagnosed until he was about 23.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Black people associated with bad drugs, as they say. Um, oh, so and so tripped out on this or that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I guess that is a thing. I'm sure that is an actual thing. But the people that I know personally, they had, signs of those diagnoses long before the drug episode. I think the drugs just heightened it.
Yeah.
I think when kids are when they're small, especially boys in the Black community, you would associate their behavior with just being a bad child or being a
Yes.
boy versus
Mm-hmm.
trying to really pay attention to what they're acting out to or reacting to or what's really wrong. It was always your mom whacking the thing like, go sit down. Didn't I tell you to stop? Or what's wrong with you? Why are you acting crazy? You know what I'm saying? But not, and maybe it's something really wrong with this child to where are just missing the fact that discipline is not working.
Yes, exactly. Whooping after whooping after whooping is not doing it.
It gets old.
And it's not. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's why a lot of times people don't get diagnosed when they're younger because it's been overlooked as, oh, they're just being a boy, they're just acting out, or, she just, everything but something is mentally wrong with this individual. And then that's, not until when they get older that they start doing, like she said, maybe more violent things that someone says, oh, well, something's wrong with him. Well, it didn't just get that way. It probably started
It's building over years,
and it was overlooked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a few factors that go into it, which I do agree with. Chantel's and Nashika's point that a lot of people are not educated enough to know or to seek help, and they're just associating with, oh, they're just being a boy, or they're just being kids, or they're bad. Another thing that I think is that, instead of people, because when you go and you tell somebody, okay, I think something's wrong with me, you're looking for support or help in a sense. And within the Black community, you don't get that. You get talked about.
Yeah.
Business being spread around. Girl, let me tell you about Savannah.
Deeper into that
motherfucker
space.
He crazy than the motherfucker.
Yes, exactly.
At that point where it's like, okay, now, people may see that and be like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna keep everything in. I'm not gonna tell anybody anything, I'm not gonna say anything, and then they're suffering in silence. Which I feel like that is the main one for me. Because, a lot of people in our community, they always just want to have something to gossip about. What's the latest tea or the newest drama, what's going on with such and such. And it's like, it just makes people want to just be like, you know what, fuck it, I just deal with it on my own.
Right.
And then they don't even know how to better deal with it on their own, but it's like they have no choice. So I think that for me is the major one. I'm not sure if I heard your point or if you agree with everybody else.
I'm just agreeing with everybody because I had wrote down some stuff, and that was my number one, like being silent, your family thinking you crazy, and then I just feel like that's just gonna make me revert. Like I'm just gonna keep me backtracking from everybody. It's gonna push me deeper into this emotional space, hole, whatever it is that I'm in, and I feel like that has potential to be like create unhealthy relationships too, because now I'm losing my sense of communication in a way. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel as open to telling everybody what's going on with me, and now I'm secluded and shelled because I gotta protect me because nobody is getting what's going on. I don't even understand what's going on with myself, and I can't even try to dump my stuff on somebody and get like a level mind about it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like all of that just groups into one for me. It all starts with the way how your family responds to it because that's who you know first.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm coming up with y'all, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to my mother and and I can't go to my mother. I'm gonna be a little less okay with coming to a friend like, nah, because this person gonna think.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Point in regards to how important do you guys think it is to have Black professionals within the mental health field? And before we dive into it, I wanted to ask, because I did ask a poll on my social media, which is Twitter and Facebook, and people are saying how many people have like either a psychiatrist or a psychologist or some type of counselor that they go see on a regular basis. And not too many had that, including myself, which I'm going to throw them on the bus. Me too. I ain't got one. I do want one. But
have you ever been to any type of counseling or anything?
No.
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 Not even like guidance counselor in school.
Girl, no. I don't fuck with them.
Yes, me either. That was the last school I trusted with anything.
You're not trusting bitches at all. I ain't like them.
Oh no.
I like mine in high school.
Oh, that's horrible.
Junior high
It's
school,
horrible
she was
that
horrible.
you couldn't trust them, and that's their sole purpose at the school is to be trusted.
Of being there, right?
Here's the thing. Well, I've seen how they operate. And
but when you have guidance counselor, when you have the guidance counselor acting like a child, trying to be friends with the students, it takes that trust away.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, oh no, she here to play just like we are. I can't
exactly.
My high school guidance counselor wasn't. Well, my middle school guidance counselor was very loving. She was an older lady. She was so sweet. She was so kind. My high school counselor, she was okay, but it was for literally, like more like a college advisor, and less like,
like actual counseling.
Come to me if you need help with a problem. So I'm really, I mean, I don't doubt it. Trust me, I don't doubt that these counselors be cutting up, but I'm just sad to hear that.
Yeah.
I have one now. I have a therapist. She's a Black woman. I purposely picked somebody Black and a woman on purpose. But this will be my first time going to counseling. I mean, in middle school, I went like one day to the guidance counselor, but that's only because I had to. Because I got into a fight with a teacher, so I had to go. But other than that, no.
I've seen a few therapists. I'm actually looking for a Black therapist now because I think maybe that's why I haven't. Well, I'm not gonna say I didn't like any of them because I've only been to 3 different ones, and that's just because I have to. What I'm looking for as far as a therapist is, can I come in here and really be myself? And by be myself, not just talking to you, telling my business, but really sitting down like, okay, look, let me tell you what the fuck is going on this week. You know what I'm saying?
Comfortability.
Right, receptive of that, and let me feel like that's okay. You're not sitting there really judging me. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the sense that I got with 2 of the therapists that I've seen before. So that's why I kind of, I was like, no, y'all not for me. One guy, he was really, really good. Very attentive, offered tips and things for, different stuff that I was going through, help and stuff like that. But then his staff was horrible. But I definitely think that even if you feel like you're okay, it's okay to have a therapist to go to talk to, to express yourself, just, so that you kind of have that judgment-free zone. You don't have to worry about, or, is this person going to go put my business in a subliminal, Facebook post?
Exactly.
And so, like,
man, what kind of people y'all been dealing with? This is horrible.
I'm trying to figure out why everybody now she can know it's all sunshine and smiles.
No. I ain't saying I ain't ran across no bad ones, but not in these scenarios.
Oh, okay.
But I guess I should. It
happened to me personally. No, it happens. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I understand. I'm guessing there was an opportunity for it to happen for me because, well, first of all, when I was in middle school, there was no social media. So, I mean, for all I know, the counselor could have went gossip, but I mean, I never know. Yeah. And but I also never had a reason to think that about her. But this is shocking.
Yeah, I think now because times are different and we have social media and people have become to be more petty and more messy than before in the past. It's like, even, unless it's your, really trusted circle, outside of that, you kind of be like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So you're kind of skeptical, even if it's not. I mean, it could be just sharing a picture or something. You kind of skeptical of doing it just because of, you know, who your friends are on your Facebook list. You know, that you talk to every day, or you know, whatever. But I think everybody needs to see a therapist just to stay in good health, even if you are in a good mental state, you know, because you don't always want to dump your problems on your friends, or you know.
Exactly. And then sometimes the therapist is good too, just to have somebody outside of your friends, somebody that's not really biased.
Right.
They
I
don't
have
know.
I saw a few times. I think it was very helpful. She was a white woman. I didn't get to pick. They just like put you wherever. Out here anyway. And I don't even know if there's many Black psychiatrists.
It's like a Black girl therapy website where you can go and find one in your area.
I'm gonna have to do that.
What's it called?
What's it called? Black girl therapy?
I believe it's called Black Girl Therapy. I'm gonna have to look at it again though, but I believe.
Yeah, but her name was Tina Knowles. Her name was Tina Knowles, and she was really good. That was my first time going. I haven't been in a while. I want to say maybe 2-3 years. So that's why I want to look for another one. But when you go, I don't know if you ever have. When you go, there's I'm like going in like I'm not telling them nothing about what's going on with me. I'm gonna just feed her whatever I want to feed her. I felt like I wasn't gonna be comfortable, so that's how my first
therapy for Black girls
session went with her, and I'm just like, I don't really want to tell her my business, but I was very receptive of what was going on. She was very receptive for what I was telling her, and I left with a lot of like ways to cope. It was very educational for me.
Yeah.
So if because I had such a good experience with her, I would go back, but I definitely want to find, someone that's Black and see what that's, how that works out.
Yeah.
How that works out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that's important.
I don't have one.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, because she be cutting in. I'll be knowing like if. Okay.
I think
now your video is off.
Delayed.
Yeah, your video is off now. Like it's delayed. It's a little behind.
Okay. You want to finish your thought?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have one. I want one. I've been saying I wanted one for a while, but with being in Indianapolis, it ain't too many. Then I'm also skeptical about, if I do find a Black one, are you really
professionalism
for us? Because you got some Blacks who want to try to please the white people, and and you act like you don't know how to speak the vernacular and the Ebonics. I want to be like what Chantel said, be comfortable. I can come in here and be my 100% self and speak to you in a way. I don't have to dress it up in a professional manner. I can speak to you, exactly what the fuck I'm saying, what the fuck I'm talking about.
I'm gonna come here and take my wig off, like, girl.
Right.
I don't know about all that now. You took in public, but but I would feel like I would just want it to be where you understand and you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about and what we're dealing with. So white people, out the question for me. Y'all can't relate to what the fuck I'm going through. So I definitely don't want to see none of y'all. Plus, I feel like y'all be trying to diagnose me or put me into a mental asylum, without even fully assessing me and getting to know, what's the problem and helping me
giving pills,
some ways and coping. So it's like, but I do want to find one. But I feel like that's the reason why it's important for us to have a Black, professionals within the medical or the mental field of it, because we need people who can relate to what we're the fuck going through and living through. I can't see for any Black person going to talk with a white person. You can't understand what we live to even properly be able to help.
I just don't trust white people.
You know what?
Go ahead, Chip.
When I saw the therapists before they were white, one lady, It wasn't that I felt that she was judging me. It was something about our vibe. It was off from the first visit, and I didn't go back.
It's just because she was white.
So fucking cakey.
I did have somebody white that, like the guy, he was white, and I really, like I said, I don't know. I wouldn't say that I probably felt as connected as I probably would with a black person. But I don't think him not being able to relate to my life took away his ability to be able to assess what was wrong with me.
Right.
This is probably what you need to do to kind of fix that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's how I felt about mine.
Yeah, so like in a way, I want you to relate, but I don't want like homegirl vibes either though. Like I want you to be able to help me. You know what I'm saying? Like
I agree.
Diagnose, like don't get so into it that it's like, oh girl, yes, I went through the same thing, and then we swapping stories. Like no,
right. Now I'm healing you, heal me, heal you.
Right.
Yes, no.
I don't want to be too comfortable, but I want to be comfortable enough for me to be myself, but you need to remain professional.
Yes,
right.
exactly. I feel like that's a good balance to my therapist. I'm sorry, go ahead.
With that, when Tavon said something about wanting to put me in a mental asylum and all of that stuff, I'm big on that. Like I don't need you just diagnosing me with anything out the gate. Like let's explore what's really going on. And then we can come to an agreement that this is what it is. And that's what I liked about her too. It wasn't just like, okay, yeah, you're depressed. Take this medication. This is gonna help you sleep.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't that at all. And that's what I really appreciated and connected. Like that was the first thing I connected with. Because don't try to just dope me up just because I'm talking.
As far as my therapist, she asked me, like, do you want to get medication?
Tried to do was write.
It was never been a conversation for us.
I'm like, what are you writing?
I was going to her for a while.
I told her, like, I don't want to do medication. I told my therapist, like, I don't want to do medication. And she was like, well, we going on the speed of you and how you feel. So it'll just basically be on you. I feel like my therapist is professional. She don't give me homegirl vibes, but I am comfortable. So I can get on there like, hey, like, you know, I like your hair type shit. But it's not like a, girl, let me give you the tea this week. It ain't nothing like that.
It was like, oh, that's cute. All right, let's get into it. Like.
Exactly. And she know her stuff. You gotta get somebody
before we dive off the topic, I have like this thought ever since this whole podcast came about in regards to this episode in particular. I was kind of thinking, who helps the Black professionals with their mental health?
I asked her, and she said it's coworkers. It's people that do the same thing as them, but basically know how to separate themselves. Because I definitely asked her. I was like, how do you separate yourself, or how do you know, I'm like, you take on all of our problems. Like, how do you deflect? How do you separate yourself? Or, you know, how do you separate your problems from ours? And she was just like, if I feel like I need to, if I feel like I'm getting too caught up in your problems, then I will take a break and then reach out to somebody else.
That's good.
Yeah, because that's always been a thought, like the whole entire time, like the upcoming, you know, weeks leading up into this episode of kind of thinking like, okay, well, who helps them, you know, because shit, we come in there pouring all our problems out, then they got to also deal with their life, and then patience issues. It's kind of like, that would be overwhelming, but that makes sense to coworkers. That's great, though. Now, does anyone want to share what mental health issues y'all deal with, or that, you know, are prone to be, you know, victims of?
Depression and anxiety for me.
Yep, same for me. Literally, anxiety is through the roof.
I feel like I'm more understanding of both, but I think I handle my anxiety better now. Depression is still like kicking my ass. Like, if depression is like, we not doing it today. We're not doing it today.
Oh yes, we're not doing it.
And that's that. You're not gonna talk me out of it. We're not gonna try to because once it sets in, and I'm just like, I know I'm in it. I can't pull myself out of it. It's like, well, what you sad about? I don't know. That's the worst part of it for me. Sometimes I don't know what's going on, or what, like, you know, I identify my triggers and I know what's it's coming. Like I can feel it leading up to, like, yeah, I'm about to fall into a depression. I feel it. Sometimes it's just out of nowhere. Like boom, we here. What's going on? Just move over.
Right.
Give me the remote. Slide over in this bed. Let's go to sleep, or let's not sleep, or
Yes,
we gonna
yes,
eat. We
mine
gonna
is
pack
not
on these
sleep.
pounds, and you just gonna have to take it. And then when we out, you just fix it on your own. And I don't.
Right.
I just feel like, yeah, that's. I'm trying.
I feel like I got way more control over depression than I do anxiety. My anxiety be through the
I'm
roof
like,
at all times.
I'm too big to be not breathing at times. Like I don't be sitting there trying to get my no.
Oh
So
yeah,
I had to that, and it gets like that for me. So I had to get control of that, because I felt like that's gonna put me in the grave sooner than depression will, in the sense of I can't breathe. Like, you know what I mean? So I had to focus on that, and then now I'm just working on the next thing, and it's just a building block situation for me.
Yeah, I suffer from depression as well, especially after my divorce. You know, I had this, big plan, like, oh, yay, I'm divorced now, I'm be on my own, and, thinking it's like I hyped myself up thinking that that's how I was going to be. It
wasn't
was
realistic.
and now it's better, but like Cookie said, you don't know when it's going to hit you. I mean, like it'll just come out of nowhere. And the crazy thing is, that's where you go, or that's for me, that's where I start to feel like I don't want to share certain things with certain people, because they're looking at you like, but you was just fine 20 minutes ago, or you was just yesterday.
Okay, and my meter ran out.
Right, or what you mean you depressed? Like, girl, you ain't, they laugh it off as a
Yes,
joke.
girl, depressed. Like,
what's that? Like,
Like, it's not necessarily like the goddamn commercial where I'm sitting in the bed sulking for weeks on end. Bitch, I got a life.
exactly. I got bills to pay. I got
Right, so it's like I'm functioning with the depression because I have to. But if I could just fucking stay in the bed all day sometimes, that's probably what I would do. But I know my life won't allow that. So when it comes to sharing what's wrong, I do kind of pull back, because people expect you to be this bubbly, upbeat person because that's what they know you as. And then they're so used to sharing their problems with you that, one, they forget about you. And then two,
like I'm human too, and I have emotions and feelings.
Right. And then when you finally do decide to share, it's like, oh, get out of here, girl. I thought you was fine. You be laughing on Facebook. Oh, anybody can laugh on Facebook.
like anybody can laugh.
That is the best cover in the world right now.
Oh, for sure.
What?
Social media is the best cover.
Who gonna see me?
My thing is, don't judge my mental state off my social, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Exactly.
It's just like
those super happy friends that be going through the worst things.
Right. And that's just like somebody walking around smiling, going through the worst. Like, I can interact on Facebook all day long because I'm in the bed like this.
Like this. Right. Exactly. I can have pussy eyes and you don't know.
Right.
I can be crying 3 hours before I laughed at this status. Exactly.
Right. But then if you ask me how productive I was for the day,
all I did was scroll Facebook.
Exactly. You don't know that I saw something on there that just broke me down and made me start crying. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm off of Facebook. Like, it's crazy. But that's one thing. That's the thing that I suffer with. And one of the therapists that I went to decided they wanted to prescribe medication for it. Oh my gosh. So he told me, if you want to stop taking it, you have to let me wean you off of it. You can't just stop taking it.
Stop taking it. Yes, and that's true.
Oh, well, I found out the hard way.
Okay. I'm about to say, them antidepressants be.
Since you know everything and you got your degree.
So I was taking it, and I ain't gonna lie, I did feel a little bit better as far as mood wise, I guess. But then I don't know, I kind of felt like zombie-ish as far as physically, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't really like that. And so I didn't like it so much so that I didn't want to wait to be weaned off. I wanted to stop that shit that day. So I stopped taking it. I was like, no, I'm not taking it tomorrow. I don't want to feel like that tomorrow. Oh my God. Y'all, I was at Kroger getting gas. And I don't know what happened. I couldn't get the top open or whatever. So I struggled with that for a minute. I finally was able to get the gas cap open, get the gas. I got in my car, and y'all, out of nowhere, I started screaming, like damn near at the top of my lungs and hitting the steering wheel. Like nothing else had happened.
Wow.
I wasn't talking to nobody. I was by myself, and I was like, ah! I mean, screaming. And when I stopped, I looked around, and I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Okay, who's in here?
Overwhelmed, full of emotions.
Right. It's so scary. It's so weird. I said, what the fuck camera am I on? Who did I just
You get around like, what the fuck?
Yes, and I slipped you something.
the day when I got home, and then I was crying about it, and then it triggered, it made me think, oh, this is why you gotta be winged off, so shit like this won't happen.
Yes.
But that made me say, you know what, I have to find other ways to deal with my depression, because I don't think medication is the way for me. You know what I'm saying? So I started journaling, I've been meditating for years, just other little stuff that, would kind of help. And it still don't always help, to be honest. It just depends on the...
Do you work out?
Huh?
Do you work out?
I do from time to time, not like I should, but yeah, from time to time. And that helps because
I'm gonna say that.
Believer,
what I mean? Endorphins going.
Yeah, it gets them endorphins
creates
moving
happy,
and
releases happy chemicals.
And that's what I really want to get back to, because I know that my weight also plays a part in my depression. You know what I'm saying? But the hard part is actually getting up and getting started something about it, or staying consistent. I'll say that staying consistent is the hard part.
Yeah.
But
I agree with you.
Well, yeah, like everybody else, I deal with depression. Honesty hour. I have not dwelled deep into researching and diagnosing myself as of yet, but I think I may also be bipolar, just slightly.
Okay.
Because some days, like, I'll wake up, like, I have my friendships with everybody, certain people who I love to speak with every now and then. But then, like, sometimes I wake up, like, fuck everybody. I don't like none of y'all hoes. I don't want to be dealing with none of y'all hoes.
I'm really bipolar.
I feel that whether he want to talk or not. So
I feel like that's maybe your depression, because with depression, you kind of in and out. Sometimes like you isolate yourself, or sometimes you just...
It doesn't hit with my depression. Like, that's the thing. This would be like, I could be fine, don't have an episode of depression. I just wake up like, I don't want to talk to none of y'all.
You don't want to talk to nobody.
I don't want to do with nobody. But it's like, I'll be fine, like, and I could still go throughout my day and do anything I need to do. But it's like, yeah, such then I call me today because I ain't answer. I don't want to talk to nobody, and it just be like out of nowhere. Then like the next day, it's like, hey girl, I ain't speak to you in a month or Sunday. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, motherfucker, you was just saying fuck everybody the other day.
I don't know. I feel like
that's... Are we friends today?
What are we doing?
Yesterday,
I feel like maybe that's just something within. I don't know if that's bipolar. Like, I don't want to call it that, because I'm like, it's maybe like you
I don't want to diagnose myself with it just yet, but I am, just being honest, I am looking more into it, which I have not, because I'm like scared to, you Google some shit, then every symptom come up.
You Google
it, they can say you got cancer, yes.
Right, yeah.
It's the number one.
Yeah, it's like,
no. I will say this, with depression comes the mood swings out of nowhere. So 1 minute you can't
the crazy thing is, like, it doesn't hit like when I have episode of depression, because I'm like everybody else, like, I want to stay in bed all day, don't feel like doing nothing. Like, to where if I have to work, I would damn sure call in, because I don't feel like getting out of bed. I don't give a fuck about no points. I don't give a fuck about the job.
Oh yeah, no points, no fire,
I need a mental health day, because
like
my coming in is going to be bad for everybody.
And
I'm on mental health leave right now.
That, or I'll eat a lot. But it's like, when I would expect that to kick in when my depression is kicking in with all these other things, but it doesn't. It'll happen when, like, I'm fine. Ain't nothing happen. Ain't nobody pissing me off. Ain't nobody beating into me. Ain't nobody saying that kind of crazy, kind of having me like, hey, you know what? I can't fuck with you. It's just like, you know what? Fuck everybody. I don't want to talk to my mama. I don't want to talk to none of my friends.
Yeah.
Nobody better not call me. Like, it's
Yes, disgusted
like,
with everybody.
Yeah.
I
You
want to
ain't
be
do
right
nothing,
right
but I
now.
don't
Like,
like you right now.
so it's kind of like, I'm still, that's why I really want to go to somebody. Because, I feel like I know myself, but I would like a, professional opinion,
Yeah.
about it. But
Stay off Google because they'll tell you about to die in 72 hours.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, because I was so tempted to be like, I don't want it to come back that I actually am bipolar. And it's like, then what? Then don't nobody want to deal with my crazy ass, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I'm
But
going to hold off.
at least you have kind of looked at it so it won't be a total shock if they do diagnose you.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Can handle it a little bit better to say, okay, I kind of thought that I was going in that direction, so this kind of just confirms it, as opposed to thinking absolutely nothing is wrong, and then they tell you do have bipolar disorder, and you like, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying?
Me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Me.
Yeah, you said.
Y'all got me. Speak to the manager because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know
Yes.
But you
what you're doing.
know, but you know what I'm noticing though, like even with saying that, oh, I'm looking for help, or I'm looking into this and wanting to go, see if this is the issue with me or not. It's still behind that. I don't want somebody to think that I'm crazy. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Because you was like, you had just said something about being bipolar, and then you was like, oh, well, they don't want to deal with my crazy ass, and that breaks my heart. Like I just feel like, why does that have to be the undertone to it? If I'm going to seek help for myself, I should just be able to seek help and it not
Seek
be
help.
that's, you know what I mean? Like you go to the dentist every 6 months, or so ain't nobody like, ew, you going to the dentist again? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
why is it like that's still
Yes,
that's
why
still
is
something
it?
that I have to keep healthy. I want to keep my mouth healthy, my body healthy. You go to the doctor, yada
Yes,
yada
keep
yada.
your mind
But
healthy.
I want to keep my mind healthy too. Why do I have to feel like, oh yeah, I'm about to go see my psychiatrist. I'm just, chilling here, and everybody's just like, okay, cool. No, it's always, well, what you going for? Like,
Yes,
Right.
what's going on? What's
like
what's
Yeah.
I
good?
hate that. Like, nothing. I'm good. I want to talk about the good stuff this time. I'm not even going through a problem right now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go just to relieve myself of what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and
That
and
goes
everybody's like,
back
I
to
don't know, you crazy. That's it.
and that goes
Yeah.
back
I hate that it's
black
like
community, and that goes back to the black communities and our parents thinking
right.
that you
Because we
don't
just talked about it. We just talked about it.
right,
And
Mm-hmm.
it's
don't
like we
talk
still saying,
about
yeah, but I don't want
problem.
nobody to think
Right.
this. It's
Yeah.
horrible. It's horrible.
Because I remember suggesting to my mom therapy, and she was like, "Girl, ain't nothing wrong with me. That's you. You go. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah. What I'm gonna go to talk about? What they gonna say to
It,
me? Like
But
a
it
lot.
really be stuff going on with them that they don't really want to
Right.
bring to the
that's what I
surface.
told her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that more than anything, it's not that, especially in this day and age and the way time has, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that it's that she truly believes that nothing is wrong with her. I believe it's the opposite. She knows something is wrong with
Something is
her and
wrong.
she's scared to confront it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't want to hear, someone tell her, okay, this is what's wrong. Or not only that, I don't think that she necessarily wants to dig deep into her past and bring up certain things. I think she's scared of that. And rather than just say that, then the first excuse is, no, ain't nothing wrong with me. You go. You know what I mean?
Right. You just pass the buck. Like, bro,
Right.
we ain't doing
But
that.
something is wrong. Shoot.
Now, my question would be, because, it seemed like it's coming full circle with the first topic to the last topic, and then now we're reverting back to the first topic.
Right.
What would there be, like, how do we remove the stigma from the Black community? Because,
I
like,
think it's us.
we talk about
Go
it,
ahead.
and then we're like, but then I'm afraid that if I get diagnosed with this, people will have this to say, or, they wouldn't want to deal with me. So it's kind of like, well,
I
how
think
do
we
we
have more
break it?
conversations about it. We have more
Right.
conversations that
We need to
people
be more
know
comfortable with the topic.
that it's okay to discuss what issues you're having so that you don't have to suffer in silence. Like, the more people feel comfortable about doing anything, they'll start to share more. If you look at Instagram with women who've had weight loss surgery, or even haven't had weight loss surgery, just plus size women, they're showing their bodies more now because people have made it more comfortable that
Right.
all sizes are beautiful. All, you know what I mean? All shapes are beautiful. So you've got people revealing more of themselves whereas before they were hiding behind clothes because being plus size was not considered beautiful, or being dark skinned not considered beautiful. But you had more people having conversations about those things, letting them know that it's okay. And now look at, you know what I mean, the outcome. So I think it's the same thing with mental health. We need to talk more about it and let people know that it's okay if you have these issues. This is what we can do to try to get you some assistance or get help. And I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, is just doing stuff like this and having more conversations.
More awareness of it, pretty much.
Yes,
awareness and communication.
Yes,
definitely.
I feel like there needs to be a space created where that's safe. You know what I mean? And we don't have that. There's no foundation for it yet to build, to be like, all right, yeah, I could just come out and say, this is what I'm going through, yada yada yada, like without it being a big production, or I have to make this big post to see if people support it or not. You know what I mean? So yeah, awareness and communication, it would be what I would suggest.
Even with you know, the death of Chadwick, people are seeing how people walk around suffering with issues, and people, you know, talked about him. You know what I mean? You know, all he's losing weight, he looks bad, not knowing the whole time he's like literally dying in front of us. We didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of those things. Maybe he didn't want to put it out to the world for everybody to feel sorry for him, or to think that he, you know, couldn't continue, you know, with whatever. You know, we don't know why he didn't, you know, say anything. But I think people seeing that is people going through stuff like that and are dying. Maybe they'll start to open up and be like, you know what, I need to talk to somebody about this, or I need to, you know, it's okay, because I don't want people to know that, you know, after I'm gone, that I was sitting here suffering with X, Y, and Z, and I could have got help, you know. So maybe that has brought some light to the, you know what I mean, situation, as far as people's, you know, not just their physical health, but mental health as well.
Okay, definitely. Because I feel like this, and I feel like this is something that's not talked about a lot, but in regards to, I feel like everybody has a mental health disorder. Everybody. Yours may be a small or not as major, such as depression or anxiety, or it could be as major as schizophrenia, you know, dementia, things of that nature. And I feel like I had like some little, not a debate, but it was dialogue on Twitter with somebody, and I can't remember the origin of it, but I had told her, you know, basically I feel like everybody suffers with mental health disorder. And I think the original statement was in regards to, could you deal with somebody who had mental health disorder? And I think my response was, I could, if they were actively seeking help. Now, if you're just, you know, allowing it to kick your ass and you just not doing nothing, you feel like, I'm just gonna, you know, oh, well, this is how I am.
So this is how I'm gonna be. Like,
no. Yes. You can take that shit to the curb over there.
Elsewhere.
But if you're actively seeking help, then of course I'm gonna be supportive. I'm gonna be riding with you, going through the motions with you, because you are actively trying to get better. And then I think that's when it kind of pulled into, I was like, I feel like everybody has a mental health disorder, but everybody won't admit it. They of course don't want to look like they're crazy or something's wrong with them. You know, so I definitely feel that way. Now, for people who may deal with depression and anxiety, what are some ways that you guys use to cope, to pull yourself out of your depression, or to help minimize your anxiety?
That's my biggest problem. I don't cope. I don't. That's the biggest thing for me, is like, I just kind of like sit it to the side. I sit everything to the side. Trauma, everything is just all sitting to the side on the back burner, which is why it's really bad at times. It's really bad at times. Certain times it's like, okay, well, it's like I eat once a day, if that, sleep probably about 2 hours of the day. Like, it's just, it ain't, I don't really have any coping mechanisms.
Yeah, I'm like that sometimes. Other times, being around my daughter or being around my kids, if Marcel is here, because they're gonna make me laugh even when I don't want to, because they're so silly. So being around them definitely will help, even if I'm just going into my daughter's room, because you know she's 19. So even if it's just me going to her room and laying across her bed and she's showing me TikTok videos or I'm showing her funny stuff, you know, we'll do that for maybe a couple hours, and before you know, when I'm leaving out of there, I feel better. I'm up now. I'm moving down. You know what I'm saying?
Laughter is the best medicine.
Other times, which I just started this recently, which is listening to jazz music. It's so relaxing. And like, I don't know, it's something about it that like, I'll just sit there and I'll just start to think, and not necessarily think of just the bad that's going on, but what I need to do to change it. And just, I don't know, depending on what song they playing, I don't know. Sometimes I kind of snap out of it, you know, even if it's not for long, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of helps just a little bit.
Go ahead, friend.
Oh, you want me to go? Okay.
Yeah. I might be a little lengthy. I don't know. I'll keep it sweet.
No, that's perfectly fine. Anything that can help, because I want to ask a question just in case, you know, for people who don't know how to deal with it. Some things that we throw out, they may be like, let me try it, you know, could work for them. For me, because with depression, I want to stay in bed all day. I don't want to do nothing. Sometimes my eating habits will fluctuate. I will only eat once a day, or I'll pig the fuck out, and I just want.
Yeah.
I find myself making a batch of banana pudding. It's a big ass batch. It is me, and I will eat it all within about 2 days.
All right, Mikey.
Right. So for me, I would definitely say Cartier has been a big help.
Yes, I agree.
Honestly,
Tavon. Pierre is definitely the big help, and he is the reason I get out of bed.
Yeah, he doesn't, and to be honest, he doesn't even know it, and I really didn't get him for this reason. And I have him registered as an emotional support dog. Now, I didn't do it because I really need him for that. I was doing it because I didn't want to pay that pet deposit and that extra pet rent each month.
I know you can do that. I'm gonna have to do that.
Registered him as a support dog, but he really has been a big help because, like, I'll be in bed. I think this was like a couple of days ago. I'm just in bed. I ain't feel like doing nothing. I mean, I was sleeping on and off. I got up at 10 o'clock, let him go outside, eat. I was back in bed by 11. Then I was back up like about 3. I went here and decided I need to get my funky ass in the shower. Did that, and I was right back in the bed by 5. And I was
but you did a lot, I feel like that was a good amount of things. Like with my therapist, she tell me like make a list of like 4 things to do throughout the day, and if you accomplish one, depending on the level of your depression, if you accomplish one, then that's good. But if you accomplish all 4, then that's great. She said start with small stuff like showers, brush your teeth, stuff like that, or eat. So I feel like you had a pretty good day.
For me,
based off that, right? Yeah.
See, for me, I can't register that as a good day because I feel like that's shit that I do. Especially, I'm very big on hygiene, so I need to take a shower at least once a day.
I was gonna do that anyway.
Yes, I take 2 a day.
I do that shit in the morning, but it was like, okay, it's afternoon going into the evening. Okay, get your ass in the goddamn shower. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like still a bad day for me. But with Cartier, like, I be in the bed and he'll just jump up and he's loud, barking. Like, he's like trying to get me to get up, and I'm thinking, okay, you gotta go outside. Maybe your water bowl empty.
He's like, no,
you gotta do none of that. You just want some attention for me, and it's like you're wanting to pull me out that depression. Like, hey, do something. Hey, with me.
I see you slipping. You slipping.
Right.
Yeah. He said, hold on.
Rub my belly, do something. And it's like I feel like he's been a really big help. But then, like, I will also try to just do random errands. Like, even if I ain't got shit to do, let me just go to the store. But then I forget a couple of things, so then I need to go back.
Yeah.
Then I might forget something else. I need to go back, or I gotta go somewhere else just to keep.
Now it's
like
a day.
Chaotic, but I feel like I'm busy. I'm running around doing something, and I'm not just suffering in the depression. So
yeah. One thing that I was gonna say when Kia brought up the list, one thing that I did find that is super, super helpful as far as my depression is if I make a list of things to do the night before. Like if I know that, okay, I've already got that in the morning, I need to go to the grocery store. After that, I'm gonna run to the bank. Then I'm gonna go by the beauty supply store, and then I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. Then when I get up, it's almost like I don't give myself the time to sulk and fall into that depressed mode where I'm staying in the bed, because I've already got on my mind, when I get up, I need to do X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying?
But how do you actually get up?
Yeah,
that's the battle.
But it's harder when I don't make the list. So my struggle right now is making the list the night before, because I notice when I don't do it, like it's like I'm just laying there thinking like, what do I need to do? Well, yeah, I get up and do it in a minute, or you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm playing it in my head, but I'm not actually doing anything. But when I can sit there and make the time to make the list all that next day, it's on and popping. But other than that, like my struggle is staying consistent and being able to do that each night, so that each day is more productive and a little bit better. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I have had a time where I made a list and I got up and I couldn't do it. I could not get up.
Right. I was about to say that. I was thinking it, but you said it.
Basically, I'm like balling the paper up.
Kobe. Right. I'm not dealing with that shit today.
But I did notice, and one thing that I did start to do recently is like on Sunday trying to reflect for the week, like what went well, what went bad, like what could I have done differently, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of helped, because when I look back, I'll be like, damn, I let a whole week go by and this is really all I've done. So that's kind of upsetting to me. So it's like I try to do better the next week, you know what I'm saying?
I like that.
I like that idea. I'm gonna have to jot that down.
I got that on my list.
Yes, I'm gonna have to jot that down.
Yeah, because
that's on my list of things I do.
Yeah, because I kind of beat myself up. I'm like, dang, it's Sunday, and I've literally only went to the grocery store, but I got like a list of 10 or 15 things that I know I could have done over 7 days. So it's kind of like, oh, you know?
Okay. Like, okay, so you being lazy,
right.
Yeah, you wonder why you feel the way you do, like
right, for real.
But yeah, for me, I do a lot of different things. I like to say that I'm on this spiritual journey. Everybody's is different from the next person, just like depression. But I always start with identifying what my triggers are. Like I said earlier. So I know, like, if I'm going through something in my relationship, or a date is coming up where I know I usually get sad, and that happens to me a lot. I don't know if I won't even know what's going on. It could be like the day that my grandfather died or something like that, and the anniversary coming up for that. I notice I'll start like getting in this little funk type of thing. So I know around this time in March or this time in April, you need to start doing things that's going to pick you back up, because one of your triggers is coming and they gunning for you. So I always start with identifying whatever my triggers is. That's one of them, but that's like amongst a lot of stuff. So I just make sure I try to, get to know me and focus on myself. I do I call Selfish Sundays, where I focus on me, on my self-care. I may light candles, I light incense, I'll listen to music. I want to say I meditate, but it's not a traditional like meditation. I don't have to be like, for me, I don't want to sit in one spot and hit the like I don't do that. Like my meditation would be like what I just say I zen out. Like I said, I light the candles. I'll be in my room by myself, just vibing out to the energy that I'm creating to go forth in my week.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how I do it. I don't I wanted to do like, I want to have a corner and sit on a little mat and do this, but that wasn't it for me. So like it's the same things I would do in that corner, sitting on the mat, listening to music, sounds and touching stuff and smelling things. I'll just do that, but I'll like walk around my room and, clean up, maybe just, move furniture around. I'm always moving something. I can't stay in the same like set up for too long. The chi needs to flow. So that, like Chantel said, with the whole reflecting on the week, you know, I'll leave everything behind that happened that week. Anything that I could change, I'll, you know, work on it in this week. If I can't change it, then, you know, I'll take it for whatever it is and just move better in the future if it, you know, comes up again. I try to focus on a lot of positive stuff. Like, I don't like to say bad luck. Like, oh, that's bad luck. I don't like to do that. Like, I believe in good luck, and I know a lot of people say, well, if you believe in the good, you got to believe in the bad too. I choose not to believe. I'm not saying that there isn't bad luck out there. I'm not saying that, you know, shit don't happen, that's bad or whatever it is, but I choose to focus on the good for me. What else?
Not a list.
Like, what else?
What else? Finding your purpose. I just feel like people don't love on themselves like they should. Like, we spend so much time focusing on everybody else and making sure this person is good, making sure this person is primed and ready to go, and then I'm like losing me. I never want to lose myself again because it's not a good space. And I feel like that's where my depression started, was like I'm feeling like, who are you? Who's Cookie? You know what I mean? Yes. So I focus a lot on finding my purpose. I write out the things that I want in life. I reach out to people that I feel like I have to reach out to. If they've done me wrong, I've done them wrong, or I just need to have a conversation to clarify what we are, whatever it is. I'll do that. I'll write, and I'm very crafty. So like, if I'm doing a cake, I'm decorating something, I'm very crafty. So I busy myself with that. I can't spend, and with this quarantine is bad because I have so much time to just sit and think, and that's like no worse thing for me. Sitting and thinking is like, all right, because now I'm thinking, and this happened 18 years ago or however long ago, it don't even matter no more, but I should have said this.
Yeah.
They don't care. You know, you remember what you did to me in the 3rd grade? You know what I should have said to you? Like,
like, man, go to hell. Like, go to the hottest part of hell.
I'm gonna just tell you how you made me feel, and I think this is how it affected me in my life today. Like, but I noticed, like, when I'm idle and I don't have nothing going on, like I'm not going to work, I'm not dropping the kids off and doing this or doing that, I just spend too much time focusing on the bad stuff. So I have to, like, again, like I said, focus all of my energy into the positive things and create a way for me to be okay. So yeah, Selfish Sundays. That's all I got to say.
I'm getting ready to start. I'm gonna have to start that. Like, I really like that idea, especially with.
I even found a self-care shirt for today. It says more self-care.
Yes, like, definitely, like, because I think that helps in a lot of mental issues, is being aware of what's going on with you and trying to find some peace within yourself. Like, whether that's locking yourself in your room, listening to music, or, you know, whatever, but actually taking the time to do that for yourself, and being aware of just being aware of what your mental state is, I think will help, you know, because as long as you kind of know, you can avoid certain things sometimes, you know. You're not as ready.
That helps me guide into my trigger. My trigger is this, or trigger day is coming up. Once I got into that, it's not like a strict routine. I don't always burn a candle. I don't always listen. You know, I don't do all that at once. But I make sure I focus something on bettering me and making me feel good, and, you know, having the right state of mind. I make sure that that's what my Sundays consist of. So I pick something fun to do. Like, now me and my brother will play handball on Sundays. Last week we couldn't do it, so I'll focus more on, you know, burning my incense and whatever else, playing a game, just something to get all that tension and out from the week.
This right here is also what's gonna help with people want to talk about it more, because we're offering not only like some solutions for people, but simple things that you can do to kind of help. Like, it's not, you know, about just always going out, finding a therapist, paying the co-pays, getting medication.
Yeah, exactly.
In your home that can bring you comfort, that just will give you just a little, you know, peace of mind from, you know, the depression or whatever. So just goes back to, like I said, just having more conversations, because having more conversations, you find out what people do to cope, or, you know, kind of cope or whatever.
Right.
Right, and then they'll show that, okay, well, this seems like it's really normal to talk about, so I don't have to be afraid to speak on what it is that I'm going through. Let me see. I wanted to share some with you guys before we depart, because in my research, I was wanting to find something in regards to some professional statistics and numbers, and not just speaking on personal experience here. However, I couldn't find anything that was in regards to, you know, the melanin side. However, I did find a great YouTube channel. Let's get it pulled up. One moment.
Well, while we're taking a moment, I just want to say thank you, Vaughn, for bringing light to the situation in this podcast. This is, you know, definitely a start to what we were just saying we could do as far as, you know, helping in the stigma in the Black community about mental health issues. So shout out to you for, you know, coming up with the topic and making us feel comfortable enough to express what our issues are with you. So I appreciate it.
Well, no, definitely. I greatly appreciate that as well, but I really couldn't do this without all of you guys.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, no.
I'm not used to that.
Thing you've ever said.
Right, I am not used to it.
This is exactly why.
You should do it more. Y'all do it more so we're accustomed.
Y'all ruin it. Y'all always think I'm mean. You act like y'all never seen a nice side of me.
It's done.
You not mean. You like feisty as fuck. Like,
yes, super.
Right. Cause don't call that mean.
I'm gonna take that. I'll take sassy. I'll take that as well. You know what? I would definitely say. I realized that, and that's another thing why I wanted to get someone to talk to. Because I'll be very defensive about. People may think they're coming to me with minor things, and then my response, you know, it comes out very defensive.
Yeah, same.
And you know, and they probably just don't know that this is something that I've dealt with, or you know, something that they said kind of triggered me. It was very small, but it triggered something bigger. You know, on me to be like, you know, well, wait a motherfucking minute, who now, you know. So
when I see that GIF pop up, I'm like, oh fuck, what did I say?
Sometimes I use a GIF in a good way, sometimes too. So I use that sometimes in a good way as well. So
in the image,
there is a video.
For a bigger view.
Upon my searching, I found this channel called TED Talk or TED Talks. It looks like they have it in different languages, Spanish and Japanese, but you know, of course, this is a Black podcast, so we don't care about the Japanese portion. For our fellow Puerto Ricans or Hispanics, you know, who may speak, you know, only
not too much on us now.
You know what? I was saying it as in, you know, helping, because if they're Puerto Rican or Hispanic and y'all only speak Spanish, you can still go here as well. Now, I don't know how to translate that into Spanish so that way you can be able to know where to go. So, you know, for the fellow people who speak both English and Spanish who are, you know, bilingual,
Espanol.
Our fellow allies, you know, and let them know. So this is TED Talk thing. I want to be able to play this video for you guys. This is by a mental health professional by the name of Shantae Meadows. I loved everything within this video that she spoke about, so I just wanted to share it as a part of this podcast episode. And I'm going to go ahead and press play now. If there's
I'm not crazy. These are some of the common things I hear when I tell people what I do for a living. See, I'm a mental health therapist. Oh God, y'all, I said that word, mental health. You know, we don't talk about mental health in the Black community. And that keeps a lot of people suffering in silence. So yes, as a mental health therapist, I listen to people talk all day. So first, let's explain what does mental health mean. Simply, the overall well-being of your mind. The issue we really have is about this word called mental illness. See, mental illness is just something that affects the way you act, the way you think, or you behave. And we all know there's times we act differently, behave differently, and we feel differently. That's what mental health is. So as a mental health therapist, I sit and talk about mental health disorders. Those are words like anxiety, depression, PTSD, bipolar. Those are examples of mental health disorders. So, as a therapist, I get great joy of helping people heal. I often get asked, why did you become a mental health therapist? I wish I had this really great, heartfelt story, but honestly, I've always just wanted to change the world and make an impact. And somehow, through my journey, I got called into the world of mental health. It has been an incredibly eye-opening world. See, I get to help people heal. And I believe if I can heal one person, I can heal a family, and then I can heal from that family, I can heal a community, and then I believe I'm changing the world. Each and every person that I sit across from, we talk about what is person. My goal as a mental health therapist is to create a culturally competent and culturally safe space to help people heal and grow the best person that they can live their best lives. See, because right now in this world, hurt people hurt people. And we are not healing our family. And because we're not healing families, one person parents from a place of hurt. They parent from a place of alcoholism. And then they pass that on their children, and their children, and their children. Therefore, we keep living in a world of health, of hurt. So my goal is truly to help change the world one person at a time by talking about that bad word, y'all, of mental health. So, what exactly does this look like in a mental health care? Well, I have this thing called confidentiality, so I think that tell y'all all the things. But let's make someone else together. How about that? Let's call her Stacy. Okay? So, Stacy, you work with her. You all get together occasionally for lunch, happy hour, dinners, and things like that. Y'all talk, y'all met each other. So you know each other pretty well. You do the same job. So one day, Stacy said, hey, let's go to dinner. You're like, sure. So you're sitting at dinner. She's like, whew, girl, I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I'm exhausted. I'm so over everything right now. I feel like I'm really like losing my mind. Looking at her like, not much in our job has changed, so kind of curious what's going on. She's like, I'm just so stressed out. I'm so overwhelmed. Right now, every time I try to lay down at night and I go to sleep, it's like I can't shut my brain off. I've got 10 computer tabs open at all times, and I'm clicking, and I can't figure out what to do. My heart always beats. I wake up and I got butterflies in my stomach for no reason. You're looking at her like, okay. And she's like, and you know, I got this work trip coming up. She's like, yeah, you got a presentation out of town. I know, who's out of town? What if something happens to my family while I'm gone? What if, oh my God, what if they restructure the job? What if I come back to no job? What if I have no job? What if I fall and hit my head? What if I get sick? Oh my God, what am I going to do? So clearly, you're looking at things like, girl, some of y'all out there might think they do. Ooh, they sound so great. No, the reality is, it sounds like they have undiagnosed and untreated anxiety. There's that word, anxiety. Anxiety is a mental health disorder. And actually, anxiety means feeling uneasy and nervous about something that you're not in control of. See, we all have anxiety. We all get nervous about things. But the reality is, sometimes anxiety can get to a place where it stops you sometimes from getting a good night's sleep. It keeps you out in your heart. Sometimes your stomach hurts. You don't know why your stomach hurts. Your palms are sweating. See, when it gets to that place, that's when you should come in. That's when you should go see a therapist. Because at that point, it sounds like it is really starting to affect your overall body. And so oftentimes, though, we don't recognize the signs and symptoms of a mental health disorder because why? What goes on in this house stays in this house. And we were never taught to talk about the things that are affecting us daily. So if I'm uncomfortable physically and emotionally, I was taught to just hold it on. Why? Because it stays in this house. But those are the things that keep people suffering in silence. Those are the things that are having people not sleep. Those are the things that keep those generational curses from going on and on because we know it has to stay in this house. And also, we don't know what it looks like because we never were taught to talk about it. So oftentimes, we miss those signs and those symptoms. So what do you do if someone does say, I have some emotional or mental distress? You're like, I don't know what to do with that. It's not that difficult. Start with just being a listening ear. Just listen to what they say with no judgment. Listen to help them figure out how do you find a therapist. We have this great thing called Google now. You can find just about any and everything on it. All you have to do is look them up. They want someone who is a male therapist. You can look that up. If you want a black therapist, you can look that up. But the biggest thing is just start with being a kind and listening ear. The other part is be knowledgeable. If someone is saying, I'm in emotional distress, just let them know that there is help for them and they do not have to suffer in silence. The other thing is, let's say when you and Stacey are sitting there at dinner and if she looked at you and was like, ooh, I have a pain in my chest, or if I have a lump, I hope you wouldn't look at her and say, girl, it's just a lump, you'll be all right. I hope you wouldn't say, just pray about it, it should go away. No, I really hope you would turn to her and say, go to a doctor. And just like that, if you have pain in your chest or lump in your chest, you tell someone to go to a doctor, well, guess what? If they're in mental health distress, if they're in emotional distress, go to a doctor. Find a therapist. We have to do a better job at looking at our mental health as our physical health. When we are in physical pain, we go to the doctor. Well, guess what? We are in emotional pain and we are in mental pain, and we need to go see a doctor. We have to acknowledge that mental health is physical health. It is a part of our overall body. We are mind, body, and soul. We are connected. And so when one part is off, all parts are off. So just like we know how come most people's stomach hurts sometimes when they have anxiety, because the mind and the body is connected. Mental health is physical health. And we have to do better at when we are in any kind of distress, go to the doctor. And acknowledge that, hey, guess what? The doctor can't really find anything going on with my stomach. My heart's racing, my hands are sweating, and the doctor was like, I'm good. They told me to go to a therapist. Then go to a therapist. Stop putting that off. Often, time and time again, we wait and we don't go. See, just like you would go to a doctor if you broke your foot, because after a while, you need your foot. It hurts to walk on it for too long, right? You need it. You need to walk. Even if you got to get crutches, if it's walking utensil, if you have to have a cast, you're going to walk. You're going to figure out one way or another. I've been having this foot for this long, and all of a sudden this foot is causing me distress. I'm going to go figure it out, right? Why wouldn't you figure it out if your mind is in distress, if your emotions in distress? Because guess what? You're going to come see a therapist, and just like you might get crutches, you might get a cast, well, guess what? I'm going to give you some tools and utensils to help you feel better. What I'm going to say is, hey, let's try some deep breathing. Why deep breathing? Because that can slow your heart rate down. Because sometimes when your heart is going so fast, you breathe fast. Your breathing will change. If you're not breathing the correct way, you will pass out. That's hyperventilation. That's why I'm going to say deep breathing. Why am I going to tell you to do some yoga or meditation? I'm going to tell you to do that because that teaches you how to be mindful and present in your body. That teaches you how to slow down. Oftentimes, anxiety makes you feel like going a mile a minute. But just like if you went to physical therapy and got different techniques and walking things, to help you walk better and to have your foot heal, guess what? A therapist is going to do the exact same thing. Our goal is to help you heal and to help you get back to being your best self and walking on those feet. So that is a key thing you have to remember is next time you feel like I got a pain somewhere, please also take a moment and be like, how am I feeling? That's that word, that feeling word. You know, in our community, we don't really talk about feelings. So we have to do a better job because it is connected, like I said, to mind, body, and spirit. Feelings do count. The other thing we really have to acknowledge is mental health stigma is what's stopping a lot of us from seeking treatment. Did you you know, in the African American community, because of racism, socioeconomic status, and environmental factors, we are 20% more likely to be diagnosed with a mental health disorder. Yet, of that 20%, half will actually go get treatment. So if I just said hurt people, that half that never got treatment is the one who continues that going from generation to generation. That's why we have to look at this as an important issue. The stigma around it. Oftentimes people are afraid to be called crazy. They're afraid that they're going to be called weak. They're afraid, everyone tells me I should be able to do this on my own. So let me bust that myth. If you could do it on your own, you would have done it already. And the other part of that is, the reality is, there's these 4 things called general causes that you didn't sometimes do anything. Why? Because we know that mental health sometimes comes from biology. Biology, that means it's genetic. And possibly it just was passed from one generation to the next. Doesn't mean that person got it diagnosed. It still means, though, it's genetically there. Sometimes it's just chemical. Sometimes medications can cause it, different sicknesses can cause it, hormones can cause it. There are situations, death, divorce, a really bad situation at work. Yes, it can actually trigger a mental health disorder. Or sometimes it's environmental. Back to ding, 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 environmental. Sometimes growing up in extreme poverty conditions, violent conditions, abusive conditions. There are situations that, yes, can trigger a mental health disorder. So you didn't do anything to cause this issue, but nonetheless, the issue needs to be addressed. And so we have to do a better job of recognizing that mental health stigma is keeping us bound. It is keeping us suffering in silence, and we have to do a better job about it. And with that, I want to say we all have a responsibility to be mindful of the things we say. Help people not feel crazy. Help people not feel weak. So that means I should never, ever hear someone call someone crazy again. I should never hear someone say, ooh, that weather is so bipolar. That's pretty insensitive to a person who may actually have bipolar. So we have to be mindful that the stigma is one of the main things that keep us from saying anything. And so my charge for you today is to take a minute and first think about, what are you doing? What are you saying that, one, could be judging someone and stopping someone from seeking help? And I ask you to create an environment that makes it safe for others to speak about their emotions and their mental health status. And then the next thing, I really take a moment and ask yourself, how am I doing? So if you've had any moments where you notice I'm crying more than I should, I'm waking up sad for no reason, my heart is racing all the time, I have my mind and it can't shut off, I'm going to ask you to do yourself a favor and allow yourself to admit it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to ask for help. Because there are people out there like me who our sole responsibility is to be there for you. Our sole job is to give you our undivided time and attention to help you heal and to help you grow. So I truly ask you to take a minute and check in with yourself and make sure that you're okay. And if you're not, it's okay. And even if you are, still find a therapist. Thank you.
All right, y'all, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was excellent.
Now, I feel like y'all hoes gonna get on here and start lying because I know y'all didn't sit through all 14 minutes of this video.
I did.
I listened.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I ain't gonna say I sat there, but I listened.
You listened? Okay. Well, how did y'all like that video?
That was excellent.
I thought it was a really good video. She touched the surface, but she said a lot. I definitely liked it.
I feel like a lot of what she said, we're on the same page with her. And that just makes me want to go and get my degree too, because clearly I know what I'm doing. I can do that. No, but in all seriousness, that used to be like one of my first choices. That's what I wanted to do when I went to college, when I was younger. I wanted to be a psychiatrist. So I don't know. Y'all making me want to get back out there.
Well, that's all
get another degree in something.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely
yeah.
When she gave the examples about, you know, if your foot is hurting or if something is bothering you, you know, for so long and you go seek help for that, why would you not do that for your mental state?
Yes. I really like how she said.
I like that mental health equals physical health. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that to me says a lot as far as letting people know that it's okay to go seek help for your mental, you know what I mean, issues. Like that, you know, a perfect example. But then you have, you know, people that are afraid to go to just the doctor just for regular checkups just because they don't trust doctors or they don't like doctors for whatever reason. So those people, I don't know that, you know, I don't know what it would take to reach them, but she definitely hit like a lot of points as to people feeling comfortable while they don't feel comfortable. You know, like she said, you know, somebody making the comment, oh, what they bipolar, so they bipolar, you know, like saying stuff like that keeps people from wanting to share because you never know who suffers from what. And you make a joke like that, you know, you never know. That person was sitting there just thinking like, I wish I had somebody to talk to, and then you made this joke and it's like, nope, they think it's a joke, or now they think it's funny. So yeah, I really liked the video. It was right on.
It was a really good video. Yeah.
Yes, and she knew me. She was like, when you got anxiety and your stomach hurting and everything, like that is yes, that is.
I be going through that.
I be like,
so yeah, but I think it's really important, and for Cookie, like if that's definitely something that you want to do, you already know, you got my support, and I feel like we need a lot of us.
Representation.
Yeah. I think it'd be more inclined because, you know, of course, doctors be killing us left and right, the white doctors. So I feel like we definitely need our own within that field so that way we can better assist and help ourselves. It's going to be a rough road, you know, with Sally Mae with her hand out because she gave you $10K for a semester.
Right.
You know, get out, finesse your way through because we definitely need people in those fields. So
I definitely think that you give us that vibe that we said we were looking for earlier, someone that we feel comfortable talking with, you know, your delivery and everything. Like I think that would be an excellent profession, you know, for you.
Oh, thanks.
I agree.
I'm rooting you on.
So flattering today.
He wants to be mean so bad. You know what? This is what I deal with. They want me to be mean so bad that when I be nice, it's kind of like,
what you say?
It's not often, so I'm
yes, it's very rare. You was actually nice to me earlier this week too when I had texted you, and I was very surprised.
So, and he called me best friend.
I would deal with you. Because
I would say that I don't think I've ever experienced you being mean to me. Like you've always been like, you know, pleasant or whatever. But when I tell you, baby, you quick on the comebacks, you gonna get some order.
The crazy thing about all of that is that we all are that way, so it works. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, you know, that's what keeps it fun. I will, you know, me. I love to talk shit, and I feel like if I can't talk shit with you outside of it being a serious matter, you know, we ain't gonna vibe. We just not.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
You can't be sensitive. We can't be sensitive. We can't be friends if you're sensitive.
I become defensive on that part, but once we get past that first initial meeting, talk shit.
Yeah.
Show me who you really are. Tell me your business.
Okay, right. Who you really are, okay? The fake ass smile. No, I'm just kidding. Well, in the great words of Funky Dineva, that's all we got. Ain't got no more. Definitely, it was a pleasure speaking with y'all in regards to this matter. Stay tuned for episode 4 because that will very much be the controversial